Oi, you know what time it is? You're tuned in listening to Dry That Aussie Metal Guy. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of his content when it drops. And remember, stay brutal, you mad dogs. Roof!
G'day, how you all going? It's Jai, that Aussie Metal Guy here with Crank.com and with Cranium Radio. So today, tonight, this morning, wherever you are in the world, it is with great pleasure that we're going to have a chat with Francesco Paoli of Fleshgod Apocalypse, the Italian death metal symphonic maestros who are due to release their sixth full-length album, Opera, August 23rd through Nuclear Blast. Absolute pleasure, my friend. A ripping album. Congratulations and thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the kind words about the album. Yeah, we're super excited, and I'm super happy every time I get in touch with Australians and maybe worldwide, because it's an internet radio, right? So
Yep.
it's gonna be everywhere. Yeah, I think we have something like 8-7 hours in between us. So.
Yeah, dude, and US
technology is great.
I know I've got a lot of US listeners, so I'm able to do this from Australia, do my show live for a station over in the US, and then talk to you as well.
Awesome.
But this album is an absolutely amazing album. I've been a big fan of Fleshgod Apocalypse since probably the first bloody album. I know you guys have a huge affinity for Australia, but this album in general, it is absolutely amazing, from the hauntingly beautiful start, the intro of that, to the first track off the album, like the I Can Never Die, following on from that intro, is just amazing. It hit me right in the guts, and I got it really well. It must be quite an achievement for you, and you must be very proud of this one.
Yeah, we are definitely proud. It's a super special album for us, because I feel it like I think this is in a way it's an album it's some of maturity, because the songwriters basically stayed the same throughout the whole career we had. Like, we started in 2007, and when I started the band, I was writing the music, and I still do it. So it's I wrote a lot of songs for Fleshgod. So and when I look back, I'm proud of what I've done, but I always have the feeling that I could have done it better. So now I feel that I'm more mature, more skilled to do what I have in mind, and translate it into like a real music, recording it. And so it's an album of maturity, but also it's an album of rebirth, because it's the first album we do with this new killer lineup, with Eugene joining on drums, and Veronica having like all the room, because she's gonna sing throughout the whole album much more than before. All these elements are changing. We found a new balance, let's say, so we feel young again in a way. So we are super proud of it, because, as I said, it's a real rebirth album after COVID and after my accident. And at the same time, it's an album that has a lot of experience in it. So it's the balance we were aiming for since the very beginning.
Yeah, well, you can hear that in this album as well. We all each album is a snapshot of kind of where you're at, and you can hear that this album, you've kind of been through a lot, and it's kind of, you've approached the songwriting differently. Like, even from like the opening, like I Can Never Die, when I heard that, dude, it kind of really hit me. I can never die. This life is mine forever. Free from fears, I smile at death. And then you go in towards the end of it as well, and talking about how as art survives and keeps our flame alive, or mortal cause lie 6 feet under, so when my time will come, and then it kind of goes on into that track. It was amazingly beautiful. And I could kind of, with what you went with your accident, you had this near death experience. I kind of really got it, because I spent all last year, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, spent a lot of time in hospital, chemotherapy, radiation. So when I've listened to this whole album, like, what you went through was a different experience, but you were kind of facing your own mortality to a point as well.
It's like, it's the accident itself is just an example. Let's say, everybody has something in his own life that is the biggest challenge. Like sometimes it happens at a certain point that something goes wrong, and the way you react to that, the way you have you can stay solid, and in a way figure it out, fix it, because some stuff is not fixable, but still you find people that find the inner strength to fix it, and keep carry on and keep living happily. So the big message in the album, and I'm very happy that you're pointing it out, is that everything is fixable. It's so up to us, and some stuff is just unfortunate. It happens, and we cannot just say, "Oh yeah, shit," this is happening to me, and I'm done. No, we have to fucking find a way to react to that, to keep it up, to hold on, and to share, talking about it, having others, keep people, the good people that we have closer, and surrounds ourselves by everybody that can give us, words of encouragement, and not just negative people that say, "Ah, yeah, shit, this is happening to you. I'm sorry." Ah, yeah, fine, you're sorry, who cares, you're sorry. What I wanted to hear from others is like, you can make it, which is a different thing. So this album is it's something else. It's not my album anymore, it belongs to everybody. 23rd of August is gonna be everybody's album, and whenever you will feel low, or you will feel for some reason not motivated, or you need words of encouragement, hope, whatever, you just go there, you read a little bit of the lyrics, you listen to the music, and you find some power, you find help, you find a friend. It's a friend, it's not an album.
Oh,
It's a good friend.
It definitely is. And I was reading a quote there, kind of how you were talking about revealing your weaknesses and frailties. And you realize too that Fleshgod Apocalypse, you have many, many fans and friends and people that you can inspire and touch with your story as well. And it's about kind of wearing on your sleeve. I've been the same with what I've went through as well, kind of trying to inspire other people with like not giving up, whatever you're facing with in life, you know what I mean? You don't want to lay down and give up. I was the same. I always was wanting to hear the same thing. People going, "Oh, I'm so sorry." It's like, fuck that. I'm not giving up. Through it all, I was constantly working as well. And you were probably constantly making music and thinking in your head what I'm going to do as well, because you realize that there's one life we've had. It's about the memories and the people we touch that is really how we're immortal. You know what I mean? And the collaboration between Fleshgod Apocalypse and the art and the opera of it all has steadily grown to now where it's just hand in hand together. The artwork, the film clips, it's just, you can't have one without the other now.
We try to make the whole package under the best we could, and yes, the whole thing, in everything is a piece of a puzzle of this story. Like basically we have this concept, but the way we worked on this concept is different in every kind of artistic form, and we were exploring. Video clips are more like metaphorical, I would say. The album itself is the lyrics, for example. It's the whole album is an authentic story. It's a true story, but it's also put in a poetic way with dialogues. So I have Veronica, who is my partner all the time. So you have this development of the story throughout these dialogues, and makes it like an opera. So every song is an act. It's different topics, and you go deep into these topics, but not just in first person, telling the people your point of view of it, which was more or less what we've done so far. I think it was even less effective, because in the past we were talking about others' burdens, others' issues. We were like a third party, a watcher. We were a watcher and we were describing it. So one thing is talking about others' burdens or others' frailties or weaknesses or problems or whatever, and one thing is talking about yours. So it's way more authentic, and the message is delivered way easier, and that's why also the songwriting was pretty smooth, despite all the difficulties, like physical difficulties to make it. The album, it was like super smooth, and because you don't have to fabric anything, you don't have to fake anything, so it just goes into the fucking paper, it goes into the fucking vinyl straight from the heart, and it's great. And so yes, thank you very much for the appreciation but the overall thing is just like tentacles of the same thing. It's we have this concept which is the core of the whole thing, and then we try to boost it, with the cover art, with the clips, with pictures, with all the designs, the artworks that we had, and of course, like, first of all, the music.
Yeah, I just want to quickly share the cover art for the people who are watching the video for this. This is absolutely amazing there with
Yeah.
the Italian
You see
flag.
Veronica.
Yeah, it's a beautiful piece of art. Like, who did you work with? I've got it written down here, but I'd rather you tell me about who you worked with for this as well, because I actually dove right back into like old Caravaggio artwork
Yeah.
as well as Artemisia and that, which I hadn't heard for, and it was actually quite enjoyable for me to jump back and check out the old artwork. But who did you work with for this?
Awesome. Yeah. Well, the artwork itself is like Veronica. She embodies art. She embodies music, and it's a pretty simple, but sometimes we take it for granted. It's a pretty simple message. She represent art. She represent, in this case, our own art. She's holding the Italian flag, and because she represents basically the aesthetic of like the melodic and the kind of aesthetic that we have, like additional aesthetic that we have, but we're not just a death metal band. We have this opera influence, symphonic influence, and so it's pretty melodic, and she handled all these melodic things throughout the years, together with Paolo till the last album. Now she's the like covering all these territories, and she's basically representing art, and she's standing on top of mankind, which is bones, because it's what we are reduced now. Like mankind, I think a few times in the past, in the history, we touched such low levels of morality and culturally speaking, it in like production. It's like whatever we do is mostly commercial shit. It's nothing that has anything to do with the real art. It's most of the stuff is content, and so everything is reduced to bones at the moment. And the environment, the theater, it's a theater that is falling apart. It's a destroyed theater, and the reason why it is like that, because it's a metaphor of society. So the only thing that can shed some light into this fucking disaster is music, and that's why she's on top of this pile of bones, and there is this light hitting her, because it's the only light that we have, the light at the end of the tunnel, and we have this. We have the proof of it, with COVID. Our industry was the first one hit by the COVID thing, because everything was closed down and artists were treated like useless people.
Yep.
But mentally speaking, like for our mental health, for our, what was the food for our soul during this time?
It was music.
Was it?
It was,
Yeah,
it was music.
was a painting, was a movie, was it's so we take it from granted too many times. Politicians and governments take it from granted for many times. I'm not saying that at first there was an emergency, and of course you have to give priority to health and whatsoever, but they mistreated us for so long, and in the end, it was important as much as some other medical treatments, because you can treat the physical aspect of it, and we know very well, you go in and out the hospitals many times, and I'm sure you wouldn't say, no, without Cameo I would be here. You
Yep.
can pray as much as you want, but you need a fucking radio.
I thank the
You need
doctor. I thank the doctors. I get out and thank
I
my
need
doctors.
I need a fucking surgeon fixing my fucking elbow, fixing my fucking leg. Otherwise, I cannot walk. I cannot move my arm. And so science comes first, absolutely. But art comes together, because without music, without art, in general, there's no medicine for your mind, for your heart. And that is important as much as the rest, because you need to grow emotions. You need to feed your soul. Otherwise you just become empty, and even if you are physical okay, you are just a useless man. You're a piece of flesh, and that's it. It's all about
Thomas
emotion.
on working just 9 to 5, going home, not consuming anything. Art is everything. Like over here in Australia, like we had just in South Australia, and I'm pretty sure it was the whole of Australia, was something like 18% less live venues now than compared at the start
Yeah.
of COVID. And it's already hard enough to get shows. And it's pretty well the way of all over the world. They shut up all these venues slowly
Yeah.
under the guise of it all. And as you mentioned, it was movies, music, art, all of that stuff that got us through COVID, and governments kind of all pushed to the side. And the way of the music industry now, if we didn't have the committed fans getting along to these shows and actually buying the vinyls and supporting bands that way, it'd be next to impossible to kind of make a living being an artist as well, because you don't have the support of a lot of the governments, where they should be chipping in a lot more support for the live music scene in each
Yeah, but
country. I know it's the same
it's
here in Australia.
as I said, as I said, they just they take it from granted, because there's always a new artist that makes good stuff for free or almost for free. So they just don't care, like they don't care about venues. They don't care about the industry, like the small underground industry. They don't care, because it's like, yeah, it's like a hobby. But this hobby is what saved your own fucking minds. Your brains are not completely reduced to mud just because all these people worked for free for several times. Now I'm in a professional band at the moment, and it's been like a 15 years long wow, 15 years with this band, but 20 years long, 25 years long path. And I'm super happy, because I reached this point. I can kind of make a living off the band. But it's I'm also from another I'm also from another era of it. It was another age, and now, and I could develop organically. I could develop slowly but steadily. From now, it's all about doing something quick, having a quick success, having something that repays you, and puts your money back in your pocket right after you release it. So there's no investment, and this word is many times is misunderstood. Like, investment is not the money. The money is just the last part. Investment is time.
Yep.
I spent my whole life. I dedicated my own life onto it. I had two kids, and both times I wasn't there when they were born. This is like, I'm not saying that everybody has to do the same, but this isn't investing in a project. This is putting everything you have in something. And now I'm very proud of the results, and I'm enjoying the results of it. But it's not fair that many others people that are from different other countries or in different situations have no chance to express themselves and make a living out of a band or out of an artistic career whatsoever, just because maybe they weren't the right guy at the right spot in the right time. That is very misfortunate to me. So I really wish to everybody that's something to say, to find a dimension, to find a way to make it something that can stay and be a priority in their life, because it's for an artist, or if you have an artistic desire to share your experience, it's some kind of a urge. It's important to share and to produce music, to produce art in general, because it's part of you, how you are. It's your personality.
Well, it's
So
an
it's
important part of society, isn't it, Francesco? You think of as a young teenage lad, if you didn't have some of the bands you were listening to at the time, I know for me, that was my
it's
therapist at the
essential.
time. That was my
Yeah, it's
therapy.
essential. Yeah, that was I was saying before. I mean, like, we take it for granted, but it's not. Like, we grow up with ideas, we grow up with the ideals, we grow up with our own morality, ethic, and we basically forged our personality around this art. Oh, there's a super nice cat in the meantime, and
Yeah, she's
yeah,
my little kitty, eh?
I made uh, so as I was saying, getting back to serious things, yeah, we forge our own personality around it, and we can't take it from granted. We It's important that the old society realizes how important it is, and finds a way to finance it, and finance it in many ways, not just the money, in opportunities, in clubs, in promoters, in, whatever can help this development, this growth, this whatever can improve what it's already existing. It's important, as in it's essential to
There
keep
has
it
to be
going.
a better way at the moment, because it's hard, because even bands like yourself have to constantly tour and work, and you're a new
Yeah,
dad as well. Congratulations. You want to
yeah, yeah,
spend
yeah.
time at home with the family, but you've also got to go, man, I got to get out and play
Yeah,
with the
but
tour on this as
yeah, I'm
well. So
lucky.
you're
I'm
juggling
lucky,
both.
bro. I'm lucky that I really love to be on tour. Like, I'm one of those, like, guys that I'm forget like I'm one of those guys that really, like, love every show, every night. I'm super excited, and so yes, it's the extensive touring. It's it's not just a, like, it's not a problem for me, it's a problem for the fans, because sometimes we are so many touring that concerts are constantly overlapping, and sometimes fans have even to pick and decide, should I go to this concert or the other one. It's like you have 10 concerts a week, like, in Australia. Even when we were touring Australia, we had like a pretty calm week, because it was something like Easter time, but and it was a little bit less crowded, but still at the same time there was like a shitload of bands going around, shitload of bands coming the next week, shitload of festivals. So it's like, sometimes you feel like, wow, how can these people can afford on money wise, time wise, all this, so we need to give it a little bit of breath, and rebuilding some different clubs in smaller cities and whatever can let us keep touring, but in a more diluted way. It's not just the overcrowding a place and playing the time all the time, something like that.
Exactly. Money can't buy you happiness, but it can buy you concert tickets and lots of Fleshgod Apocalypse merch as well. Look,
Yeah.
Francesco, this has been an absolute pleasure. I could talk to you all bloody night about this album, mate. Look, do you have any last words, shout outs, thank yous, or anything else you'd like to add in there, my
Yeah.
friend?
Yeah, I really wanted to thank you for the interview. I wish you all the best for your health and for the radio. I want to thank everybody in Australia coming to the show, coming to the next shows, and buying the album or sharing the music or whatever you can afford. Do it. It's very important that the music goes around, and the message behind the music goes around even more. So thank you very much. I really hope that you will find some inspirational word, or at least encouragement words in the album, and I really hope we will be back soon to Australia, because every time we come back we feel so welcome. It's just a very exotic way, a very exotic place for us to play, so we are always super happy to come down there. So have a
We
good winter. It's winter there.
I know,
summer
it's
here.
cold. Yeah, it's cold as at the moment. Well, we love having you down here, down under here. Fleshgod Apocalypse. Everybody grab the 6th album. Opera does drop August 23rd through Nuclear Blast. You're going to want to chuck it in the stereos and crank it up really bloody loud for the neighbors. Cheers, guys. Cheers, mate.
Man, thank you.
Oi, you're tuned in to Jai That Aussie Metal Guy, so make sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of his sick content. And remember, stay brutal, you legend.